I am a young man.
It's just
Don't call me old. It's all falling apart, guys.
So yeah, we're gonna have trouble topping yesterday's, aren't we? So yeah, I think we've jumped the shark now.
Well, there might be people who are just really more into it for the politics.
Yeah,
I found
like,
yesterday's
there
episode
was absolutely
a real disappointment.
none of it in there, but I enjoyed it. So yeah, yesterday was absolutely bloody lovely. Today is 16th June, and it is day 88 of our lockdown blog. As predicted, I'm very, very tired. As you might imagine, sorry, there was some animal-related mischief going on there. As you might imagine, I had a few drinks last night to celebrate.
Yes.
So that has added to the inevitable pain from the day prior doing all the canoeing and stuff. So I'm quite a tired, quite a sore girl, but a very happy one. So it's all good. All good. First, before we get into anything, just in case you were worried, Arthur did turn up in the end.
Yes.
So he was missing for about... 36 hours. But when we came back from my parents last night, I went into the garden and shook some treats, and he came running straight away. So I think he'd been lurking around going like, where are they? Because we hadn't actually seen him by the time we left to go to my parents, so I was starting to be a bit worried.
Well,
but thankfully
they're used to kind of us being around just all the time.
Yes.
So for us to go out for the day rowing.
Yeah, and then for him to be out all day, and then us to be out in the evening, if he had come back, he might have been a bit like, where the hell are they? But thankfully he's here, he's fine. As I suspected would be the case, of all of our cats, he is the one that I worry about the least if he disappears, because he has got a bit of a habit of doing so.
One of the others is sulking with me, I think.
Yeah, you were really, really mean.
Very mean.
Very mean-spirited. Chris today tried and failed to get a live slow worm off Ford.
I eventually succeeded.
Oh, did you? Oh, I thought you'd run into the garden and you couldn't get it.
So, well, he came in. I think it was Totem that got the slow worm.
Right.
And then Ford followed me downstairs towards food, and then he was like having a bit of an interaction with Totem, which I thought was affectionate, and I thought it was nice. Because Totem looked like he was meowing at some coat hangers at the bottom of the stairs. But I think he had a slow worm.
He does do a sort of victory cry. It's a slightly different meow to his normal meow. It's a little bit deeper and it's a bit louder. It's quite... I've sort of got an ear for it now, because I'll be upstairs and I'll be like, oh, someone's got something. Ah.
So I think Ford nabbed it.
Right.
And was playing with this slow worm, but I could see it was still slowly moving a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get it off him, and he ran down the garden with it. And I sort of gave up. I thought, well, he's gone away with it. At least the positive is he's not leaving a dead animal in the house.
Yeah.
It's sad for the animal either way, but
And little slow worms, we get quite a lot of them here. Most people will go years and years and years and not see one, but I get them brought in by my cats quite regularly.
That's it. It's nice to see slow worms, but not under these circumstances.
No.
And so I thought, well, he's gone down the garden with it. I'll leave him to it. He's won this round. But then I came back and found he'd brought it back in and was playing with it on the floor. And I thought, right, I'm not having this.
Off him.
So, well, I did, but it took a lot of... I was running around the side of the house, running around the front of the house in just my pyjama trousers, just chasing him all across and trying to grab him several times, and he's wriggling free and so not liking it. And then eventually he's got it in the back garden, and I get like a whole packet of food, cat food, and just tip it on the ground in the garden. And he's distracted enough by that he's still got it like by him, but I can just reach in and grab it, and then I get it and I sort of gently lob it into the bushes.
Sorry, there's some strange noises going on.
Catty nonsense, that is.
Where's Lucy?
Lucy's down there.
Oh, right, okay. It's catty nonsense. Sorry. It might be further... I'm going to pause this because I think there might be some nonsense going on. Hang on. Sorry, all is well. I was just checking on the subject that there was some sort of nonsense going on. I was checking there wasn't some poor critter.
But yeah, so I managed to rescue the slow worm and put him back in the garden. But, I mean, I do not know...
Where did you let him go?
I'm just in the bushes, in the, So I don't know if the shock... whether he would have survived.
If that happens again, put him in the cat carrier.
Yeah.
We can go over the road and give him to Harriet to put down the bottom of her garden.
Okay, far away from everything.
It's a better area. It's like rocky, but
I was just,
just
in
a
the
little
heat
bit
of the moment.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Just that's.
But I don't think that Thor's forgiven me yet.
Sorry, Toto was just attacking a box.
A cardboard box, but he never.
That has been there for months.
Yeah, this is not usual Totem behaviour. What was he doing earlier that was a bit mad as well?
I don't know. What was he doing earlier?
Oh, I don't know. It's entertaining for people at home, isn't it?
Great content, guys. You're really, really coasting after yesterday.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you haven't seen yesterday, I would watch that if I were you. I think it's like the first time we've got into like triple figures on views on YouTube. Yeah, got far more views than we normally do for that one. So yeah, I don't know what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to announce that we're gonna have a baby or something next. I don't think we can top it.
The trouble with that is, well, presently at least, that would be lies, wouldn't it?
Yes.
I
I'm not saying we'll lie about that. No. I'm saying that's probably the only other landmark, because we can't get married on the blog. And I don't know when we're going to be able to do that, actually.
Get married on the vlog? You don't know that.
Well, we can't.
You get like a socially distanced sort of vicar to stand the other side of the webcam.
I don't want to get married in my living room.
Yeah, but that's different to saying we can't.
Well, okay, we're not going to.
Okay.
Love you guys, but come on. But yes, so yeah, you think he's still sulking with you?
I think so, yeah.
It was quite nice, actually. They both, Arthur and Ford, with the younger two, actually spent ages in the house sleeping on the bed, being all cute today. When the weather's nice, we just don't see them. They go out and they just gone for days.
Yeah, their little cat adventures.
They just come in for food. But
well,
yeah, thankfully they were in for a while.
They're only like less than a year old, aren't they? So this is their first summer,
months,
really.
Yeah, 9 months-ish, because they were born in August at some point.
So this is their first proper summer.
Yeah, loving it they are. Loving life. The wildlife of Malpas is not faring so well, but sorry guys. Yeah. Yeah, and in other sort of us news stuff, tonight was the quiz that I hosted, which actually I really enjoyed this evening. Sometimes when I've done it before, I found it a bit stressful. But actually, I think there were slightly fewer teams today, but it was quite manageable. And yeah, I think it was a fairly good quiz.
Yeah,
quite broad.
It was a good fun quiz. Some of it was very frustrating, such as the nature of quizzing.
Yeah.
And there was one on the picture round, was Calvin and Hobbes.
Yes.
And that one I couldn't get for ages, and it finally came to me, which I would have been so annoyed if I didn't get it, because I know
it's literally
Ellie's got
on
like a big
the screen. You can probably see the edge of it. That orange thing just by Chris's elbow is a Calvin and Hobbes anthology, the complete collection, which you should read. It's brilliant.
I know. Well, I've been meaning to get around to it. There's always so many.
You've got a lot of comics to work through.
I've got a lot of things to do, but
for a bit of a change in tone, I think I'd highly recommend Calvin.
But it's like a complete collection, isn't it? And I've been eyeing that up for a while, so that if I hadn't remembered, I was really going, I know the other side of this room, I can't look at it because that would be cheating, but I know
very restrained of you not to look. Well done.
Well, you can't cheat, can you, in a quiz?
No, but I'm sure if you were like, well, it's not cheating if I just look at something in my living room, but well done. I thought you'd get that one. I didn't think that you'd be stuck because it's sort of there.
Yeah, but, I just...
You did get it.
I just, had a mental blank on it for a while.
And the connection in the connection round, only one team got, but I was really pleased with it. Oh, I liked that connection. So yeah, so we did that. So that was fun. I probably should. Well, I should have known that I was probably going to be hungover anyway, because yesterday was my birthday. But obviously, I celebrated extra hard. But I only get engaged once, don't it? Ideally, I'm only getting engaged once.
How many times am I going to get engaged?
Hopefully only once.
Okay.
I guess
that's it. My dad said I've done a really good job of proposing, which is not lovely, but you should go...
It's not a handy life skill, is it?
No, I can't be like, I'm really good at proposing, I'm going to do it regularly. I'm going to
make a habit of it. Yeah, no, I think I'd be a bit cross.
If people are watching, they might have noticed me looking on my phone a couple of times, and it's not that I'm being rude. I'm trying. I couldn't remember the name of a thing.
Right.
And so I put a message. Basically, I heard about this thing on the Ellis James and John Robbins podcast.
Right.
And I thought, that's a nice positive thing.
Yeah.
And after yesterday's vlog, it's nice to keep the positivity going. But then I couldn't remember what the name of the service was called.
Right.
And so I wanted to kind of
find it out?
So I went, and I couldn't find it anywhere by just Googling. So I went on the Ellis James and John Robbins podcast page on Facebook, and I asked, does anyone know the name of that thing from the other day? And it's actually got a very, so I was thinking if people had answered, and it's actually got a very straightforward name.
Right.
It's called Letters in Lockdown.
Right, okay.
And what it is, it's where, I'm just double checking, no one's come on and corrected it and saying it's not called that at all. So I think it must be called Letters in Lockdown.
Letters in Lockdown, so what's Letters in Lockdown?
So the premise is it's a non-profit thing, and I think you can do it entirely for free, and you send them a letter to yourself, and they will send that back to you in 1, 5 or 10 years.
Oh, that's nice.
So you can just have that, so it will come back to you, and then you can look and be like, oh, okay, that's interesting. That's what I was thinking, or how I was feeling, or where I was in my life during lockdown.
Oh,
and,
that's nice.
And then if you're feeling really positive, you can look back maybe and be like, oh, that was a difficult time, but I managed to face that positivity, so I can do that again. Or if you're feeling really negative now, maybe in 10 years you look back and go, oh, I felt really negative, but it's all turned out all right. And I mean, I'm assuming, unless you 10 years from now you're having a terrible time, and then you just go, oh God,
I thought that was bad.
That was the beginning of that was very much the beginning of the end for me. I don't know. But like, I still feel like they're doing that. They're not charging any money for that.
That's nice.
So it's a nice thing. So if that's something you're interested in doing, a little time capsule for yourself.
Like that. That's cool. Thankfully, we all have this to look on. So I backed these up. So I've actually got hard copies, but they're backed up onto my external hard drive. So I will have them anyway. But obviously they will be
just in case we anger the fascists who run YouTube. Am I right, guys?
You never know. Like, websites do gradually become obsolete, don't they? And then I don't know, YouTube might suddenly start charging for having content on there or something like. So like, I've got them anyway. But it is nice that we've documented it. I think it will be a really cool thing to look back on. I'm so glad that we had yesterday film. That was amazing. Goodness me, though, doesn't it create a lot of admin?
It does.
Oh, I've spent all day on Facebook. It's lovely. So many people are sort of commenting and liking, but you do spend all day sort of going, thank you, yep, thank you, like, love, like. It's really nice, but it's crikey.
Everyone's been very, it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't often get this kind of this chance to just indulge in sort of everyone being very nice to you and offering congratulations and things.
Yeah, it's very heartwarming and lovely. But yeah, crikey, lots and lots of comments and reactions on Facebook, sort of to the video itself, and then obviously we went Facebook official today, which I timed that really stupidly. I was like, oh, should we change our status on Facebook? But I did it just before I was planning on lying down for a nap, and then my phone wouldn't shut up.
I've had some lovely messages from people, like from colleagues from the comedy world and from my job in Specsavers, for example, like who just, they've all people I've not seen for months. So that's been quite nice to kind of have messages and likes and things of people who, you've not been seeing, like my friend Helen from work.
Nice, yeah.
Said we need to get on Don't Tell the Bride.
Okay.
So.
Well, they give you like 10 grand for your wedding, don't they? We haven't got 10 grand.
No.
Yeah, I'm willing to televise my wedding for 10 grand. The trouble is they always make the brides on that programme look like really difficult, awful people. They just go like, and they always make the blokes look quite stupid.
I can live with that.
But 10 grand for a wedding, I don't mind looking like a bit of a bitch. I'll do that. But yeah, that would be quite fun actually. But yeah, I don't know, because we don't know. Well, we don't know when we're going to be able to actually get married or how we're going to be able to actually get married. But I got the ring on the finger, so the commitment has been made.
Yes.
No take-backsies. I'm loving it. I can't stop looking at it. It's really self-indulgent, but I'm just spending my whole time just going, oh, it's so pretty.
Really makes me happy how happy it's made you.
Yeah.
It's quite flattering in a way, because there are lots of people I'm sure in my life who would not want me to ask them to marry them.
I hope, to be honest, I'm the only one who does want you to ask them to marry. If there's anybody else out there that was hoping, sorry.
Gutted. But I...
No.
Like, there's things you can have for your birthday. Just, all I've said is like I want to keep doing what we're doing for like forever, and you're like, yeah, brilliant, that's the best news.
It's the best news. I love it.
You could have had anything.
I told my gran last night, so I went over to my mum and dad's house and told them first. But once I'd told them, I rang my gran. And I think I mentioned yesterday before it happened that I'd spoken to her, and she'd been feeling a bit rough, but it was nice to talk to her. But then obviously I told her later on, and oh goodness me, she was elated. It was so lovely. Like she was so happy, and I was just like, oh, that's amazing. Like she's 97, and I've sort of gone, oh well, like because she does make jokes. She makes jokes about the fact that she hasn't got long left, and I'm like, stop it. So I was just like, well, you got something you've got to look forward to now, then, haven't you? So and she's like, well, you better plan it soon then. Like,
well, world circumstances are not making that easy.
Yeah, no. But yeah, it's yeah, she was really, really happy. I don't think my dad congratulated us. I think he just made jokes all evening. I don't think he actually said congratulations. But that's fairly in keeping with his persona.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a lovely time. We went over to my folks' house, had a takeaway in the garden, and hang out. I had a couple of video calls with some of my friends. And yeah, just a really it's an interesting one, that is, because obviously like you knew it was coming, but I didn't. So you sort of, I guess, like were prepared. But I was a giggly, gleeful mess.
We were talking about that afterwards, about how it's a weird, and you know, if you are doing things the quote unquote kind of traditional way, you know, where the man proposes and the woman gets proposed to.
Yeah.
Then for the man, you've got the kind of responsibility of like finding a ring, hoping that the person likes the ring, planning a proposal and how you're going to do it and when and where and all that. And so you've got that kind of stress or anxiety or whatever. But then as the woman, if you're in a relationship that you think is going quite well and you're happy and you want it, you're just sort of waiting the whole time, just going, well, is he going to do it? When's he going to do it? What's going on? And I knew I had the ring since like late December, early January, but I couldn't tell Ellie. I couldn't.
You'll be like, don't worry, it is gonna.
Put your mind at rest. It's in
all
hand.
Good.
You know.
Yeah, but it's like I think we both knew from quite early on, really, that I think I remember actually saying to my friends, you know, are you dead yet? I was like, I'm going to marry this man, and I think that was probably not that long, probably like 6 weeks in. I was like, yeah, I think I'm marrying this one. And yeah, it's so nice to be like so sure. But yeah, like we've talked about sort of getting married and how we'd do it and that kind of thing, just as general, not making actual plans for a long time.
Even though I think we both knew that's what we wanted, I wouldn't be surprised if you had a sort of thought in your head of kind of, yeah, I know he wants to propose at some point, but I just can't see how he's ever going to get himself organised to get around to actually doing it.
It's like, am I going to have to basically force his hand at some point and be like, mate, put a ring on it? But yeah, no, I think like, yeah, it's all perfect. And so nice to have something so nice to think about at the moment, because in case you haven't noticed, life's pretty grim in quite a lot of ways at the moment. The world is going through some difficult times, and like just doing these blogs and stuff, we get sort of quite heated and quite angry and sort of thinking about some quite dark stuff going on. So it is so lovely to have something that is just lovely. And actually, I think that might be part of the reason why so many people have made so much fuss and been so lovely about it, because it is nice. Like people have sort of said, it's so nice to have something nice to think about. And congratulations, loads of congratulations. But I think particularly the fact that this is how we're going to come out of lockdown, when so many people who were in what they thought were fairly solid relationships have sort of cracked under the pressure of lockdown. But yeah, it's just brought us closer. Like I was sure anyway, but I'm like, yeah, there's zero doubt. I was like, yeah, well, if we can get through this and it brings us closer, then I think it's a pretty good test of us. So yeah, pretty happy, yeah. Mate.
And people seem like brought to have enjoyed. And if that includes you, then great. People seem to have enjoyed watching the video and said, "Oh, you know, I teared up," or I, you know.
Yeah, my friend Elle, who we mentioned, she helped with the ring purchasing and all of that. Sorry, there's a different nonsense going on there now. But yeah, she sent me a message earlier. I don't want to paraphrase, I want to get it exactly right. But yeah, she said, this is the third time I'm watching this now and crying, you couple of fucks.
Yeah. But quite a few people have said that, you know, they like watching it and like, which is not, because there's a tiny bit of me going like, well, it could be.
I wondered if it was a bit self-indulgent.
To have filmed a proposal and put it on the internet, but I mean, no one has to watch it, do they? It's not.
Yeah,
it's
we
not
haven't forced anyone.
It's no more indulgent. Put it this way: it's no more indulgent than just doing this as a thing. Anyway.
We're doing this anyway.
And
might
if
as
you've
well.
got past the point where you're watching these, then excuse me, you know, might as well. But yeah, so I didn't mean to punctuate that with a burp. That's indulgent, isn't it? Burping for your entertainment. Yeah.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Good work, guys. So
forever this one.
Let's
old Burpy McGee.
Talk about something else positive. I think.
Yeah. Shall we?
I want to talk about Marcus Rashford.
Was it Rashford or Rashford?
Rashford.
Oh, right, lovely.
I should know because I am the vlog's football correspondent.
Are you?
Yeah, I know all about the sport ball. I know all about footy. It's got
the feet ball.
Yeah, I know the offside rule and everything.
Do you?
Yeah.
Go on then, explain it.
In football.
Yeah.
If you are offside.
Yeah.
Right, that's not allowed.
Right. Okay.
And the other team gets like a free kick.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's about sums it up. Yeah. Neither of us avid sports people, but yeah, this is a nice story. It isn't actually to do with sports, but it's a sportsman that he's a footballer. I'm not sure who he plays for, but he's a sort of top level.
He plays for Manchester United.
See,
told you, sports correspondent. I'm all over it.
So yeah, okay. So he's a football. What's he done? Why is he in the news then? Being as you're the football correspondent.
So what it is, a lot of children in the UK have been getting free school meals.
Yeah.
You know,
so while we've been in lockdown, they've been getting vouchers for supermarket vouchers to go towards school meals, but they normally get a lunch free.
Yeah, kids that are from kind of low-income households who normally would get a free school dinner.
Yeah.
When they're in school.
Yeah.
Suddenly those kids are at home.
Which then puts
extra
pressure on
meals
the sort of
that the parents have to kind
for the
provide every day. So what's happening is the schools are giving them vouchers so that those kids will still be covered.
I think some were making up packed lunches that they could come and collect, and some were giving supermarket vouchers. I think it was sort of decided by either by the school or by the local authority.
But either way, it's making sure those kids don't go hungry.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, what's happened is we're approaching the summer holidays.
Yeah.
So long since I've been a schoolboy that I don't know exactly when they begin.
I think usually about mid-July. It's about 6 weeks, so it's all of August and
6 weeks,
the end of July.
Oh yeah, because you normally go back about the 5th of September, don't you?
Yeah, first weekish of September usually.
So that's what's with that coming up. You know, do they still get the free school dinners that they're used to having? Because you know, technically they wouldn't have normally had those over the summer holiday. But these are unusual times.
Yeah, tough times.
A lot of people have lost their
like,
incomes,
or
they're on furlough and they've got lost 20% of their wage income at least. And in Wales, it was announced in April that these school children would still be covered and they'd still get fed one way or another over the 6 weeks of the summer holiday, which is great.
Lovely.
If you live in Wales.
Another good move by the Senedd. I'm pretty much I'm loving our local government basically through all of this. Their hands have been a bit tied by what the UK Parliament has been saying overall, but the way they have sort of handled this crisis is certainly, I would say, better than the English.
They've done loads of good stuff. They've housed the homeless, and they've said that they won't have to go back on the streets after lockdown.
Which is brilliant. They've said that they won't give coronavirus financial support to any businesses that are registered in tax havens, which I'm all for. The UK government has not done that because all of their friends are registered in tax havens.
They've also been a bit more cautious about reopening things. And getting
schools are still not open. They open back up on the 29th if the R8 either stays as it is or continues to fall. They've been more cautious and in ways that I think are reasonable. yeah, I just generally think they've handled this really well. So they had already decided they were going to do that, but the UK government had not said the same thing. So Marcus Rashford, sorry, basically spoke out on this, and essentially the government have done a U-turn, and they've said they will now.
Well, he started a campaign, didn't he? He was saying, and he wanted people to use a hashtag on Twitter, asking the government to make a U-turn.
What was the hashtag?
I can't remember. It was something about a U-turn, like make the U-turn or something.
Right.
Saying just basically, there are kids who aren't.
Yeah, we can't have kids going hungry. Like, it's just with the sixth richest economy in the world, even with everything that's going on. I think we're going to rapidly fall down the stakes on that because of the mishandling of all of this. But at the moment, we're the sixth richest economy in the world. I don't really think there's any excuse for there to be children going hungry. And there are children of people whose both parents are both working but are still below the poverty threshold because people are just not paid enough, and rents are too high and bills are too high, and it's inexcusable as far as I'm concerned. I just think like that there is the money to go around. We're just not funneling it into the right places.
We were talking the other day, weren't we, about how house prices used to be like tied to incomes.
Yeah.
So if you just had a standard job.
But people could buy a house on a single person's income.
And this was back where usually you'd have one member of the household working, and normally the woman would stay at home and look after the kids. And while I'm not advocating for a return to that, it did mean that.
Well, the thing really with it is, if people can afford to buy houses and pay rent, etc., on just one person's salary, then what that allows people to do is, if they need to, they can strike and their other partner can go to work. So that's partly why they then change the mortgage thresholds to be allowing for two people's incomes. But obviously what that does is it explodes house prices, and then they all become tied to basically two people's income. And basically it means that you've got less ability to strike or
even then it's tricky with two incomes for a lot of people.
Yeah, well that's been, because then they introduced, this was part of the property crash of 2008, but they introduced self-certification mortgages where they basically didn't check how much you were earning. They would take your word for it. But then the norm basically came to say, rather than actually say what you actually earn, people were working out what they could afford to pay back and then just saying the right amount that would allow them the mortgage that they needed to get the house that they wanted. But we're not talking like people that were saying that to get mansions. It was just most houses were out of people's price range. So they just fiddled the books to make it that people could get bigger mortgages and get more debt. And then when the financial crash happened, everybody was scuppered. But they don't seem to have they've put some regulations back in to make it harder to do that. But basically, it's still unaffordable for most people. Without inheriting part of a property or inheriting money or coming from wealth. Most people certainly, like it used to be the norm that basically straight out of school in your first job you would buy a house at about 20 and live there your whole lives. My parents bought their house when my mum was 18 and my dad was 20.
So the point I was saying is I'm not advocating for women to have to stay in the homes and men go out to work, but the idea that one person in the household can work,
there's no reason why it needs to be the woman
and it doesn't
that
have
stays
to
home,
and it doesn't have to be a flash job. It was like people who could work in like just a factory or something could still provide the income for a family, buy a house, and it does give you more choice or flexibility. You can have one person stay at home to look after the kids, or one person, as you mentioned, as you mentioned, can strike, or two of you can work part-time, have a bit more free time each, or you can both work and just have a comfortable life and nice holidays or whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if people earn a bit more, it gets put back into the economy. We're not talking like really rich people. They squirrel their money away. But normal people of sort of middle and lower class incomes, their money goes back into the economy. It gets used. It's actually more. Yeah. So having people better paid, yes, it gives them more freedom and the ability to. But it does also stimulate the economy. It means that they spend their money in their local economy, and that money gets.
And also,
recycled.
When you've got two people going out to work to kind of pay for their home and pay for their property, it also means what little money they have over, most of that ends up going on childcare.
Yeah.
Because they're not home to look after the kids, and it's, it'd be
Yeah, this is why, like, it would be better. Well, I think there will be things that come out of the coronavirus crisis that will be better in some of those terms. I think higher flexibility on being able to work from home, because if you can work from home, obviously you need to be working, you can't be supervising the kids. But if your kids are old enough that you can be in the house with them, but they don't need to be supervised, so sort of kids of 8 to 10, you could work from home and you'd be home when they came home from school, you'd be there before they went to school, without having to take on huge childcare bills, because actually most people's childcare bills will just be like sort of for after school, like 2 or 3 hours before they get home from work, and possibly like a breakfast club thing in the morning. But that absolutely rinses your income. It's a huge chunk of your money, which actually for quite a lot of people, they work it out and it ends up being that they're not really taking home much more money than they would if they just didn't work. Because they wouldn't be paying their childcare. So it's people's hands are tied. So yes, so basically, Marcus Rashford has caused the government to do the U-turn on it, which is brilliant. Annoyingly, this has been reported just from a Welsh perspective. This has been reported as England have made a U-turn and the devolved governments are following suit. It's like, no, we said we were doing this already. You're following suit.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah. Stop saying that we're like basically under your rule.
Northern Ireland still isn't doing it, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, they're not.
No, so they're the one sort of holdout on this.
But yeah, the language I've noticed with so much reporting on the devolved parliaments tends to be under the assumption of England's in charge and we all follow. And it's
we either
like,
rebel or we're following suit.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, actually, we're doing our
actually,
own thing.
Yeah.
We said we were going to do that anyway.
Yes,
so yeah,
we followed suit way ahead of time.
We followed suit before you.
Very prescient of the Welsh government.
So yeah, that's just a little thing that irks me as a Welsh person.
I think it's a very positive story, though,
Yes,
because a lot of the
lovely.
time it can feel like there's a lot that the government is doing or things that are happening in the country that we disagree with, and it feels like we can talk about it on the vlog, we can share things on social media, you know, and not just us, you know, all of us, we share things on social media and we talk about it to our friends, but it feels like there's nothing we can really do to change things. And this story shows that one person can make a difference. All you have to do is make it as quite a high-level Premiership footballer, and then you can really make a difference, and that's really encouraging, I think. But I had a quote, Boris Johnson's kind of quote on
what's he up to
this.
now?
Well, this was his kind of response. He said at the daily coronavirus briefing, he said, "I talked to Marcus Rashford today and congratulated him on his campaign, which, to be honest, I only became aware of very recently today. And I thanked him for what he's done." So that's nice.
Okay.
He thanked him. And then somewhat, James Felton on Twitter.
I think we mentioned him previously with
did.
the Daily
He's got
Mail
like a verified tick, so I presume he is somebody, but I don't know who he is, because
I've seen him retweeted loads and his tweet screenshotted loads, but I don't know who he is either.
No, because I largely read Marvel comics and he's not involved with them, and he's not on the wrestling. So how could I
could I possibly
he's
know?
Never been a member of Wings. How could I possibly know who he is? But yeah, James Felton on Twitter said Boris Johnson just thanked and congratulated Marcus Rashford on his campaign to stop Boris Johnson being such a callous, kid-starving shit. I read that very badly. To stop Boris Johnson being such a callous, kid-starving shit.
Nice. Well, sort of that takes me to something that I wanted to mention. Yesterday, I think I actually was given it the day before, but I can't remember. Time is all merging into when it might have come to me yesterday. But my friend Kim, the photographer, did an amazing like pop art looking portrait of me. So she took based it off an actual photograph of me and sort of gave it a pop art sort of comic book background and a speech bubble that says "fuck the Tories," which, yeah, sounds like me. And one of your Facebook friends commented on it saying 80 plus blogs summarised in 3 words. And I think that was meant as a dig, because he's disagreed with us on a few things. And sort of he's a little bit more on the other end of the spectrum on a few of the issues that we've discussed. But the thing is, if you did have to summarise all of these and the entire content of all of these blogs down to 3 words, I'm pretty happy with fuck the Tories being the 3
Yeah.
words you choose.
I could take that as the epitaph.
Yeah,
for
like,
all of this.
I'd like to think there's a bit
Like-
more nuance to this than that, but essentially, if you only take one thing away from
That's
this,
very much the
Tories bad.
very much the too long didn't watch version
Yeah.
of this.
So yeah, I'm alright with that. So so that's just something that I wanted to point out, but also it's a very good portrait, and Kim Partridge, photographer, is amazing. Look her up. She
is
does
very
very
talented.
good stuff. So yeah, I will maybe link to her website / Instagram if I can.
Oh,
So
all
we should
right.
probably call it a day there. I'm very
Yes.
tired and got to write a blurb for this, and then I've got to go to bed.
Tiredness has really suddenly hit me, and I don't know what happened. I thought I was fine, and then doing this.
It's just exhausting.
No offense, guys, but I know tiredness has really kicked in.
Well, we'd better get
It was when I
ourselves.
was trying to read things out loud, and I was like, oh, can't be doing with that.
That's hard. Oh, it's
Can't be
hard,
reading
mate.
Things.
Right, well, we're
Oh.
going to call it a night there then, guys. So we will see you again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Well, you'll see this tomorrow at 10 a.m. We'll be back every day at 10 as usual. So come back for day 89 tomorrow. In the meantime, like and subscribe and give us a share. Spread the word. There's no shame in it.
There's no shame in it.